Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of my F1 2020 career mode for the Formula 2 round at Silverstone today. So in this episode, both myself and Matsushita will need to have a good round to get back into the championship fight, particularly Matsushita after a pretty poor effort, or not necessarily poor effort, just bad luck the last few rounds. But we're cutting straight onto the end of our qualifying lap because I realise this will be a fairly long episode. The races were fairly packed, but anyway, we'll get through to the end of our qualifying lap here and see where we will start the feature race here in Silverstone. Across the line, and we go into third at the moment.
Okay, we don't think we're far away from some rain. I'll keep you updated as the conditions change.
So qualifying is complete and we're all set for an exciting race tomorrow. Your top three are Matsushita, Schumacher and Giuliano Alesi. With qualifying complete, all that remains is the main event. We'll be live and uninterrupted for the feature race tomorrow, so make sure you join us then.
So it's P8 for us, unfortunately, so not great, but we can work from this. Schumacher on the front row alongside Matsushita, so a good effort from him. Delatraz a very long way down in this race, but anyway, let's get into the feature race and hope we can go a little bit better.
And hello to everyone joining us here in Silverstone this weekend as the drivers make their final preparations for today's race. The grid is forming up and we're getting ready for what promises to be a real spectacle. 5 miles out from Towcester, this icon of British motorsport heritage comprises 18 corners over 3.6 miles of circuit. Silverstone has been through several changes over its lifetime, with the start line now leading into Abbey, a fast right-hander for turn 1. But still there, of course, is the circuit's most famous and iconic sequence of corners, starting at Maggots, turn 10. Joining me today in the commentary box is former 2012 GP2 champion Davide Valsecchi. We all know the circuit so well, Davide. What's got your attention today?
Always a pleasure, Alex. Everyone looks forward to Silverstone, and with such an intriguing grid, I think the fans will be excited for the start of today's race. We know these young drivers are hungry to prove themselves. Hopefully, we'll be seeing some more history being made today.
Let's look at the grid order for today's race while the cars make their final preparations. An immense lap from Nobuharu Matsushita yesterday puts him on pole position, with Mick Schumacher alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Alesi, Giotto, Dorian Boccolacci, and King, Ilott, The Scientist, Hubert, Juan Manuel Correa, Joe, Mazepin, Jack Aitken, and Latifi, De Vries, Sete Camara, Boschon, and Tatiana Calderon. Delatraz and Mahavir Raghunathan starts from the back of the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Alright, so here we are on the grid, ready to go to the 5 red lights. And it's lights out and away we go for the feature race here at Silverstone. It's an alright start, nothing fantastic, but we're going to hold our position as we head towards the first corner. We do have a car on our outside, but we're going to hold it to the inside, and everyone's bunching up on the inside of turn 2. We're going around the outside of a whole bunch of cars and move ourselves up into P4. Alesi with the bad getaway, and holding up Luca Giotto currently in third place as we're banging wheels with our teammate, and Dorian Boccolacci on the inside of him, 3 wide as we head through the first sector. And Jordan King gets us as well, as we've been elbowed out the way by our teammate and Boccolacci. But we're going to go to the inside of the Englishman, the Frenchman and the German as we head into Brooklands, and we're going to grab all 3 of those positions and get ourselves back up into P4 that we are in as we headed into Village. So an alright start for us in this race.
First lap, keep it up.
And it is a great start through this race as we have gained significantly over our qualifying position, and Schumacher losing out massively as well. He started on the front row, so I lied when I said Alesi had a bad start. He actually had a very decent one, but Matsushita with a good getaway as well, as we're putting the pressure on Luca Giotto. Alesi, to be fair to him, has actually gained a bit on Matsushita in the slipstream along the straights as we send one down the inside of Luca Giotto and move ourselves up one more position up into third and onto the podium in the early stages.
Nice work, that brings you up a
But
place.
you'll notice some droplets on the camera lens,
Check your MFD for a new strategy
and
option.
that is not a good sign for us as we go down the inside of a Lacey into Stowe corner, and we get the move done there. And it is now actually time already
Okay, we can take you this
to go into the wet tyres, no intermediates in Formula 2. So yeah, that
Nick is coming in for his
double stack for a team. So that is definitely the sign that we need to get these tyres on, as we
go. Exit now. We're racing on the exit. Go now.
get a bit of a delay there for some reason. But yeah, we have a lot of work to do if we want to stay competitive in this race, because I've never really been that good in the rain.
Okay, stay clear of the white line on the exit. We'll receive a penalty for dangerous driving if you cross over into the track.
As we just about avoid binning the car on pit exit there, and we continue on our way. But that was very close to smashing our front wing off. But moving on, you can see Giotto is really putting the pressure on as we head along towards Brooklands, but we managed to hold him off at this point. But I don't know how long that will last, because you can see in the bottom right the tyre temperatures are absolutely through the roof. So yeah, we need to do something about that. We need to try and cool these tyres down, because they're not giving us any grip.
You can win that place back.
And as we slide off the road, Giotto gets through a Lacey down the inside, but we're going to hold it around the outside of Copse and maintain that position. But it's just not going well for us. We move on again. You'll notice I moved the MFD to the middle of the screen now, so I can better keep an eye on it while I'm still racing, and I don't have to look off to the side. But you can see really struggling to turn right. The left front tyre is absolutely melting. The right front isn't too bad at this stage, and that difference was quite difficult to get used to as we go sliding off the road there again. And yeah, we've got nothing, and we go for a big slide and almost make contact with a Lacey. Great effort by him not
Don't let them get away from you. One of them might make a mistake that lets us back in.
not to make any contact with us, and find his way through on the inside line. Here's the onboard with the Lacey, and you can just see we're not really carrying too much speed into the corner. We just aren't getting the turn, and then here just getting too eager on the power. A Lacey, a great effort to not make contact with us, and we did manage to stay mostly off the racing line. Here's the onboard with Boccolacci, and equally so, we were very close to making contact with him, but no contact made between cars. Here's the onboard with Callum Ilott, as he will be challenging us as well, as we try and recover some speed after the big slide. So here he comes to the outside as we head along around Woodcote. Ilott around the outside, and he's got to get the position here, and we're going to have to try and make a comeback and see if we can come back at him as we head into Maggots and Beckett's. We have a great run through Copse, and we're going to challenge him to the inside of Maggots and Beckett's as he has a bit of a wobble along the straight. And now side by side through Maggots and Beckett's with Callum Ilott, and we're on the left hand side somewhere there. You can see, there we go, getting through on the left hand side. Ilott's got a problem though, slowing down through Beckett's, and now into Chapley, pulls it off the road, and that is a disaster for Ilott mid-battle there, and something is given up on his car, and he retires from the race with a mechanical failure. Such bad timing for Ilott there, but yeah.
Virtual safety car is ending. Maintain your pace until the green flag. VSC ending. Wait for green.
That brought out the virtual safety car briefly, but back underway, and still no sense of grip in these tyres. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I know I'm not the smoothest driver in the world, which doesn't help, but the tyre temperatures are just absolutely through the roof. So in wet races in the future, I might just turn those off, because it is quite ridiculous. But anyway, continuing on now, we're just going to do our best to try and hold up everyone behind us, and try and maybe finish in the top 8 might be a realistic goal. But we'll see how that goes as we continue to slide our way through the first sector, and we've got Jordan King all over the back of us as we head through Aintree at a really awkward line, as we've got a lot of slide on the exit and contact there with King as he tried to go to our inside out of Aintree, and now Hubert gets through on the outside there as well. We're going to send it back down the inside, super late on the brakes, a lot of understeer though, as we're just carrying too much speed. We do manage to make the corner there, so somehow that worked out for us. But yeah, you can see how much we're sliding around there, and King just wrong place, wrong time, as we lost the back end there, and we had to sweep across to the left to try and recover the slide as we go arrowing through the middle there, carrying way too much speed. But as King and Hubert were fighting, we did manage to maintain that position, so that was very fortunate for us, as Hubert now gets past Jordan King, and as we run wide, Hubert is going to have a run at us to the inside, and he gets through as well. So we are losing positions left, right and centre. King has a look on the outside, but no opportunity arises for him there, as we send one back down the inside of Hubert as we head into the club section and get that position back up into P5.
Nice move. Good job.
So it is not it's not impossible to defend these positions, but look at all the cars behind us as Hubert now goes to the inside of Abby, and he is going to get that move done as we are struggling to keep the car on the road, and Hubert moves himself up into the top 5, and I think that might be the position gone for good now, as he has created a bit of a gap, and he will just stretch away now. With no DRS for us there in these conditions, we have no chance. But now Latifi having a look down the inside as we head towards Stowe, and he's going to send it, not quite fast enough though, and we managed to hold on around the outside. And now Nikita Mazepin retires from the race with a mechanical failure, so not a good end to the day for the Russian, and he will pull off to the side of the road there. We'll see if we get a safety car of any kind, but I don't think so, and no we don't. So the situation now, we just need to hold off another 2 or 3 cars for the rest of this race, and we should be just about okay, but a big mistake there, and it's those types of things that's going to cost us. Thankfully we got away with it there, as we had to cut the section between Maggots and Beckett's, and thankfully not get a penalty for that. But I just knew at that point I had no chance of making the right-hander at Maggots, and yeah, had to take the car there, but thankfully we got away with it. Here's the onboard with Latifi, and oh, that was a very, very close one. That is certainly a dangerous re-entry, but thankfully no penalties for that in the game at this point. But Latifi to the outside, and he's going to switch back to the inside as we run very deep into the corner. Thankfully Latifi anticipates us coming back onto the track and leaves us the space on the inside, but we're going to sweep through and maintain that position ahead of Latifi at this point. But we are very slow coming out of Copse, but that's not Copse, that is the loop, heading towards Copse, that was. But another lap and another big slide through the loop, and here's the onboard with Juan Manuel Correa, who is now the car behind, and he's going to have a good opportunity here. He is very smooth on the power. We switch to the inside immediately. Correa has a little look to the outside, but will he get the move done? He will. Around the outside, we go to the backwards facing camera. We send one back down the inside. A bit of contact. Correa's around, and he is going to be parked on the racing line. He's been hit by another car, and he's out of the race. Right front wheel ripped off of his car. That is an absolute disaster for the championship contender there, and well, that was, I'm not sure how to call that one. We were very deep on the brakes. That was Nick De Vries that made heavy contact. I believe De Vries is still in the race. He's taking off there, so lucky escape for him. Here's the onboard with Latifi, who's having his own massive moment there between Woodcote and Copse, and wow, he was very lucky. He managed to just go to the inside of all of us and not get involved in the incident. Here's the onboard with De Vries. This will be interesting, and oh, so unlucky for De Vries, and Schumacher stamping on the brakes there to avoid secondary collision. But through all of that, Matsushita will not care, because he has won the feature race in the wet conditions here at Silverstone. But it's not over yet for the minor placings, because Jordan King is putting the pressure on us as Boschung is challenging as well for 7th place, and we go very wide. Boschung down the inside of King, gets a position on him. King down to 9th, Boschung up into 7th as we run wide. Bit of contact with King as we rejoin. We send one down the inside of Ralph Boschung into the final couple of corners. We get up into P7. Boschung currently on reverse grid pole, but we're very slow, and Boschung is going to have a run at us as we have a big slide through the final corner, but we will just about hold on to P7.
That's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Ferme.
And Boschung will be on reverse grid pole, I believe, through all of that.
stuff from Carlin today. What a superb victory. And I have to wonder, Davide Valsecchi, just what set them apart from the competition here.
Simply, they are just a better driver in the way. Here in Formula 2 we know the cars are the same, so it's not down to machinery. They can just handle the weather better than everyone else. Meaning they can have the throttle open longer, they can push more, brake later, and are able to handle it all. They make it look like they have a much faster car, but it's a pure skill behind the wheel. Really incredible driving.
And there you have it, today's winners. Having raced some of the biggest names in F1 to date, Carlin have once again shown their expertise when it comes to recruiting new talent. No doubt today's winners have a bright future ahead of them. They certainly deserve it after today's performance.
So it's Nobuharu Matsushita who takes the race win, Luca Ghiotto bringing home P2, and it is Giuliano Alesi in third.
After this round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the driver's table. The scientist takes over the lead of the Drivers' Championship. And so, driver of the day then, Davide Valsecchi, who do you think you'd go for?
Difficult call, but I'd like to say Ralph Bouchon. He's just so gifted at getting the most out of tires, and he showed that today.
And here's how things are shaping up in the Teams' Championship. The lead at the top comes down after a strong weekend from the challenging pack. Meanwhile, good work from Campos this weekend, who pushed themselves further up the order. Goodbye for now then, but we really are just getting started. Make sure you join us again for Lights Out tomorrow.
So we take the championship lead, Boschung from 17th up to 8th. A great race from him, but yeah, we'll get into the sprint race now.
We've reversed the top 8 from yesterday's race to set the grid for the sprint race here today, and the drivers are almost ready on the grid down below. As we await the start of another hugely anticipated Formula 2 race, I'm joined again by Davide Valsecchi. Davide, as a former GP2 champion, can we get some insight to what is running through these young drivers' heads as they sit out on the grid?
Ciao Alex, it's a pleasure to be here. There are nervy moments, there is no doubts about that. Mental strength is the key to remaining calm and focusing on the upcoming race. Formula 2 is so competitive, and all of these drivers knows that they are going to be pushing each other all of the way. In this sport, you have to be able to control your nerves.
So here we are going straight to the 5 red lights once again for the sprint race here at Silverstone. Clear conditions, and the lights are out. We are underway, and it's an alright start, a better one though for Boschung, as he will lead the way into the first corner. Latifi going from 3rd down to 4th, Hubert getting ahead of him through the first corner, and he will be trying to put the pressure on us very soon. Hubert, I would assume he has a good chance of a win today with only myself and Boschung ahead, but as we saw in the last race, Boschung will not be too easy to beat. Going from 17th to 8th in one race is no mean feat, so yeah, we need to watch out for him. But for now, we are in P2 and just trying to close the gap to Boschung. He got away quite nicely off the start, but you can see through Brooklands and
Alright, let's focus now for the rest of the race.
Luffield, we managed to close the gap once again. So we'll see what we can do against the Swiss driver, and if we can get ourselves up into the race lead by the end of this first lap. A great run there through Copse, and we'll have an opportunity as we head towards Magnussen Beckett's, but that was a little bit optimistic there, and yeah, there was no opportunity, but we did have a run. But through Magnussen Beckett's, not carrying quite as much speed as we potentially could have, and Boschung getting away there. A little bit of dirty F for us as well, and Hubert though not seeming to struggle with the same issues, but yeah, it seems Boschung has the measure at the moment, but as we run deep into Stowe, and we should just about be able to hold off Hubert as we manage to keep it within the track limits. So yeah, we just need to minimise the mistakes, and we probably do have the pace to keep up with Boschung, but as we've seen in real life, he is no slouch. So we'll see what we can do. So we move on to lap 3 through Magnets and Beckett's. We've got to see if we can follow him a little bit closer this time to what we did before. We'll have an opportunity into Stowe if we can follow close enough and we get a really nice exit. DRS open, and we're definitely going to have an opportunity here to the outside towards Stowe, as Boschum seems to cover the inside line there, and we'll be later on the brakes, but we gave ourselves a bit of an awkward line, and as we run off circuit, I decided to make sure he maintains that position so we don't get any illegal overtake shenanigans. But moving on again to that same part of the track, we've got the DRS once again a little bit further back this time, and we'll see if we can make the move to the inside. Will be the way to go, getting as much slipstream as possible, and we make the move on Boschum, missing the apex completely. So good awareness by Boschum not to turn in on us as Correa did, and that obviously proved very costly for him in the last race. But we go big slide through the club section, and that sends us completely off circuit, and Boschum gets straight back into the lead. So this could be quite a tough one.
Okay, you need to give that position back. That was an illegal overtake.
As we get an illegal overtake on Hubert. I assume he must have got the nose ahead while we were off circuit, but I didn't really even notice he was alongside until we got that warning there. So yeah, we had to give up that position, but we should be able to re-overtake him soon enough. But yeah, it is proving difficult to get into the race lead here. So we move on to the hangar straight once again, both myself and Hubert with the DRS on Boschum. So we both have a lot of straight line speed here, but we'll get down the inside of Hubert and make that corner the best we have so far in this race. Still missing the apex there, trying to make the overtakes later on the brakes. But yeah, now the only car between us and the lead once again is Ralph Boschum, who has driven well under no lack of pressure, let it be said, from both myself and Hubert. But now I think we'll have a good opportunity. So onto the hangar straight once again. We're going to have some slipstream, some DRS, and we'll see if we can make the move to the inside. Last minute dash to the inside, and again completely missing the apex there.
Good job, nice overtake.
And that's really costing us. Boschum we'll have a little run on the outside here, but thankfully we'll be late enough on the brakes, and we'll have the inside line to cover him off there and move ourselves up into the lead of the race for at least a sector this time. But it's not over though, because here comes Ralph Boschum back along the hangar straight. Down the inside he goes. We leave him plenty of space. We're going to try for a switchback, but I waited a long time for him to get through. We actually got a hit from one of the other cars behind there. I think it was Latifi. He's having all sorts of issues behind us as we have a look down the inside of Boschum, but we let him go through there. But here's the replay of what just happened. We can see we are very wide, and it was a bit hard to tell what was going on in the background there. But front wings flying off, and it looks like there's some serious damage for a few contenders in this race. Here's the onboard with Latifi, and he gives us a bit of a hit there, and just did not anticipate us continuing around the corner. Here's the onboard with Hubert, and oh, he gets collected by Latifi as he is sliding out of control. So very unlucky for Hubert there. And finally the onboard with Boccalacci, and we'll see if he got involved. Yes, he did. A bit of collision there with Latifi. Here's a Lacey, and thankfully for him, he gets away with it and moves himself up onto the podium. So it's now a double podium for the Trident team. So it's been a superb weekend for them. Boschum potentially with a win on the cards, or at the very least a podium, and Lacey with the podium in the first race, maybe looking for another one. So if they can hold on to these positions, it will be a brilliant weekend for them. But back to focusing on what is happening in the race right now. We are in the DRS range of Boschum still, but not close enough to try and make a move. But we'll see what we can do. Closing up massively through Brooklands. We seem to be really strong there, but out of the loop and through Aintree, we just don't have the car control through there, and Boschum always gets away in that section, and that never leaves us close enough to make a move through Brooklands. Otherwise we would be a good chance there, but we get a great run out of Cops to the outside as we head towards Maggots and Beckett's, but we're going to back out of that. That was asking for a disaster if we tried to hold us to the inside there. In the dry conditions, it is way too fast to be running side by side through a section of track like that. So yeah, we let Boschum take his line through there. We'll live to fight another day as Jack Aiken retires from the race with a mechanical failure. It's been a disastrous season for him so far, and that bad luck continues, and he retires to the edge of the track just after Cops, I believe that is. That brings out the safety car, so that resets the race a bit as we were getting racy on the back of Ralph Boschum, but I didn't really look after the tyre temperatures too well on the safety car. They're a little bit cold, so hopefully that won't affect us on the restart too much. But you can see I just completely missed the cue there from Boschum, and he's already gained a bit of an advantage on the restart, and we'll see if we can gain that back. But an equally bad one for Alesi, and I'm in my own world as we head into the first corner. And we're going to need to try and get these tyres up to temperature very quickly, otherwise Alesi will be all over us. But as we move on, you can see Alesi to the inside as we head through Aintree, and we just drop it off circuit, and that loses us a few positions. But we'll see if we can get any of those back as we head into Brooklands. Not going to try anything here, but you can see Giotto, King and Alesi battling away for third position as we have a car going around our outside. That is Matsushita, the championship contender. I was about to say leader, that is not true. That is us in the championship lead at the moment. But yeah, it is all kicking off with a bit of a mistake there for me. But out of Cops, we get a great run on King as we head through Maggots and Beckett's. We're going to have the run to the outside, but not going to have a look there. To the inside now as we head towards Stowe Corner. We're going to try and go for the double move down the inside of King and Alesi. Yes, we are. And we get the move done on both of them. And now it is time to drive angry. There's no time left for conserving, because that has not served us well in the past, and led to us running off the road there, leaving too much road for Alesi in that battle. But now,
dropping back by about 3/10 a lap.
yes, as I said, it's time to drive angry and try and make up this gap, because we just need to get on with it now. So we'll see what we can do as we close up massively to Luca Giotto in the first sector here, taking a very wide line, trying to carry the speed through here. It's been a weakness all weekend long, and we still don't get the best run through there. But DRS, as we head along the straight towards Brooklands, we're having a look to the inside. Are we going to be close enough to make a move? Down the inside we go. A bit of contact with Giotto, and that is very, very costly. That's going to cost us a chance to battle with Boschum for the rest of the race, I would imagine. But
be careful with the front wing. You've taken some minor damage.
barging him out of the way, we did manage to get back up into second. But here comes Giotto to the outside as we head towards Stowe. But we do manage to get the car stopped and turned better than ever, it seems, in this race. The number of times we have missed that corner. But yeah, it doesn't seem like we'll be challenging Boschum too much. That said, we are still reasonably close with him, so maybe not all hope is lost.
We're catching the car ahead, but be aware that these tyres need to last till the end of the race.
And in fact, it seems Boschum may have some kind of issue, because he is very slow at this stage of the race. He shouldn't have hit tyre wear. He looks like he's been driving relatively smoothly for the entire time, so I'm not sure what the deal is. But Boschum is looking very slow at this stage, as we have a big slide on the exit there. That corner we have to take quite slowly with the damage on the right side of the car. The left-handers are very painful, and now Giotto is challenging down the inside as we head to Brooklands, and we're going to be late on the brakes around the outside of Giotto, and we're just about going to hold the position as we run slightly wide there. But I think that's fair enough to hold the position, as Giotto is still fighting away on the outside line there. But we'll get the power down on the inside and maintain P2 at the moment. But you can see how much Boschum has got away with that battling, and that is the kind of gap we can't afford to give him if we want to try and still win this race completely off circuit again there at Cops. So the understeer with this damaged front wing kicking in as we're side by side with Giotto through Maggots and Beckett's. But Giotto backs out, thankfully for that, because I was not looking forward to trying to continue that through Beckett's. So moving on again though, we are still just about holding on to P2 as we go for a big slide though through the club section, and Giotto takes the advantage, moves himself up into second, but he's on a compromised line out of the final corner. We're going to go to the inside towards Abbey. Can we make a move into this first corner? That would be unbelievable, but we run wide and have to take to the escape road, and Giotto is going to fly straight back past us there. So a mistake there for us, and yeah, back to square one. So let's see if we can get a good run out of this corner. It hasn't worked for us all race, and it doesn't really work for us once again. As I mentioned, the left-handers are very painful. We just cannot get a run. So that pretty much means the only overtaking opportunity we'll ever have is into Stowe, which is traditionally the better
No need to worry about tyre condition for now. Everything's looking good.
overtaking opportunity for me so far. Anyway, but a big slide there through the first corner as we were up on the curb. But you can see now Giotto has caught Ralph Boschung, so Boschung continuing to struggle in this race as we head towards the closing laps. And now it is a three-way fight for the race lead with only a few laps to go, 3 of them to be precise. So we go to the inside of Giotto, he pushes us all the way to the white line. We go to the outside, round the outside of the Italian, and we're going to try and carry the speed, and it doesn't quite work out for us. Giotto holds on and maintains P2. We'll see if we can get a run though towards Copse. Not going to work out for us. So once again, just going to sit behind and wait for potentially a mistake, or if we are lucky, we'll get a good run out of Maggots and Beckett's. But even that is proving difficult at this point in the race. We are right behind him after Copse as we head through Maggots and Beckett's, and now trying to stay reasonably close behind him, but you can see running very wide through Beckett's and just about keeping it on track. DRS though, but it's not going to be the battle behind Giotto, it's a battle in front of him as he's putting the pressure on Boschung, who is having to defend though. But Boschung manages to switch back to the racing line and hold it through the Stowe corner, and now we are in contention once again, but no move to be made into club on this lap. 2 laps to go now in this sprint race here at Silverstone, and we are once again in the fight, but Boschung seems to be doing enough to hold on at the moment from Giotto, but little look to the inside, nothing really to do there. And as we head towards Village, can we send it to the inside? Down the inside we go, and we get the move done. Opportunistic, but a bit of contact there, and we're not quite going to hold it through. Round the outside, bit of a slide, and we will just about get the move done round the outside of turn 2, but through Aintree running very wide, having to slow right down to keep the car on the track. And now there's all sorts unfolding behind us. Cars are moving everywhere, but Giotto quite slow on the exit as well, who he may have got caught up behind us, and he loses out. Not quite actually loses out to King, but King is battling away with him as we look in the top left corner. You can see, and now looking behind, you can see they're side by side. So they are battling away behind as Boschung has really gotten away from us once again. But we'll see if we can close the gap as we are really pushing the limits through Copse. That is only one of the only corners we can still gain an advantage through, as King and Giotto battle away. Giotto maintaining the position there on that occasion. But moving on once again. We are now running out of time. We need to make the move on Boschung right now. It is the final lap of the race. Round the outside of Brooklands, no move to be made there. Switch back, and we're trying to get a nicer run as we head towards Copse. That is one of our best corners, as I just mentioned. So here we go towards Copse. Not going to be close enough to make a move here, so we're just going to try and get the best run we can, nice and smooth through there. We're going to be right behind Boschung as we head towards Maggots and Beckett's, but not close enough to try and make a move there. So here we go through Beckett, see if we can get a good run, taking a lot of curb there, and that actually cost us a lot more than it gained. Boschung with a good exit out of Beckett's, and he is going to maintain the lead at Stowe corner. We're going to throw it into the corner as late as we can to try and gain time. Round the outside, doesn't work out for us. Giotto goes for a spin as we make a bit of contact with him, but
Green flag. Green flag. We're
we're going to race Boschung to the line. We're gonna see what Giotto saw first though, and well, yeah, okay, that was my fault. No getting around that one. But yeah, Boschung manages to hold us off to the line, and it's P2 for us.
Top job, my friend, top job. I was a bit worried about this one at the start of the weekend, but you've pulled through. Thank you.
Sergio Sette Camera driver of the day. I think I need a race ban.
Brilliant stuff from Trident today. What a superb victory. And Davide Valsecchi, give me your thoughts. How did they accomplish this result?
The safety car made a big difference today, there's no doubt about it. I can't be certain, but it would have been a very different race and probably podium too without it. What I do know is that they came out of that situation in a favorable position. The safety car really does alter the balance of the race.
Our drivers are making their way out for the podium celebrations, and it's going to be Trident picking up the winner's trophy. Congratulations to the entire team for coming out on top in that amazing...
So it's going to be Ralph Boschung taking the race win for Trident, myself finishing up in P2, Jordan King rounding out the podium.
So then, it's time to see how this result affects the Drivers' Championship. The Scientist increases their championship lead. And now, Davide Valsecchi, let me ask you, who is your driver of the day?
Let's give it to Sergio Sette Camera. That was a commanding performance today. Very impressive indeed.
And now a look at the team standings. Prema moved to the top of the table. It was great having you with us for this weekend. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. We'll see you when Formula 2 returns.
Alright. What do I even say about that round? As I said, I think I need a race ban after everything that happened in those races, taking out just about everyone in sight. But as for the championship fight, good weekend for Matsushita. He'll be right back in the fight after a feature race win, so he'll be quite happy about that. It's been a rough couple of rounds for him in Austria, and France not going his way either. Not necessarily by a lack of performance, just bad luck for him in the recent rounds. So he'll be happy to find his form once again with a feature race win today. As for us, fairly average weekend. P7 and a P2. Ralph Boschung, a P8 and a P1. So a great weekend for him with the sprint race win. And all round, as I mentioned, a good weekend for Trident. A podium in the first race and a win in the second. And at one point they were potentially in contention for a double podium that didn't eventuate in the sprint race. But yeah. As for Correa, obviously the spin in the first race for him really cost him any chance of points this weekend. He didn't really feature too much in this second race. Neither did Matsushita, to be fair, but he, as he does, quietly get the job done and got himself up back into the top 3 in the championship this weekend and back into contention for the championship lead. But yeah, other than that, I will say thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time for the next round, which I believe is Hungary, as we have a duel in the background with Giotto. But yeah, I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.